Hello everyone and welcome back to Send It's Weather channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at the latest data for the next 10 to 14 days, along with the ensembles, as there is still a lot of uncertainty. Now, there was quite a bit of certainty before yesterday when the models were spinning up this low pressure system, which is set to break down the cold spell. However, the GFS has come back into line with a cold solution. However, the ECM and some of the other models are still messing around with this low pressure system, which is breaking out of the high and causing a breakdown of the cold spell early. Now, will it be prolonged or will it be short lived? Well, let's see. So let's start then with the icon. This is the icon model, so this runs out to 7.5 days. So from the outset, we're under high pressure. It's going to move in from the southwest, and winds in from the southwest, and Tuesday into Wednesday is quite a wet day for many, especially in parts of northern England and Scotland with strong winds possible. As we move through into Wednesday, there's a little bit of a discrepancy between the models with a low pressure system moving through. This icon model does not develop the lower nearly as much and just keeps us in a cold northerly wind. However, as you can see, there's a little ridge in the Atlantic, like high pressure is beginning to migrate further northwards towards Greenland at this point with the icon model, and it does get towards Greenland and becomes an established block. Through Friday into Saturday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday looks very dry with winds in from the west-northwest, but we're kind of under the ridge of high pressure. The temperatures at the surface are going to be quite cold, however, and things look quite unsettled. Now, as you can see, this low pressure system breaks out of the high weakens a lot quicker, and it is towards Greenland. However, it's not in the Atlantic, allowing this low pressure to break out and starts to move in and infiltrate from the Atlantic and brings milder weather. Now, this is the issue, because when this happens, it stops any blocking from appearing to our north, or it greatly weakens it, which allows low pressure systems to run in from off the Atlantic. If we compare this to the other models then, so let's see, so the icon is a bit of a dud and breaks it down quite quick. How does the UK Met compare then? So again, very similar for the next few days. Doesn't develop the low as much on Wednesday, so allows probably a bit more of a colder snowy weather for many earlier. However, you can see that high pressure is beginning to weaken again with this pesky low developing out to the west, a massive area of low pressure developing. However, this one seems to be on a south trajectory as the block is still there. So the high pressure is still towards Greenland. The low pressure is on a northwest-southeast alignment with the jet stream, so it does look like it will go to our south, which is good because it keeps the cold air in, and there's some very cold air just to the north. However, the block towards Greenland isn't very strong here, but it is better than what it was showing. GEM, by comparison, you've just seen a little snapshot. Again, doesn't develop the low too much on Wednesday, so actually is quite decent if you want cold and snowy weather there. In many parts, then Thursday through Friday is the ridge. Bit stronger with the GM with the block. Stays around for longer. However, this low pressure system again is appearing. Going to the south though, and keeps the cold air in. Could actually be a bit of a snow event there, as that low pressure again here is actually sliding along the south of the country on an east trajectory. So that means that on the northern side of this low, there could be quite a bit of snow. So areas of the Midlands could see quite a covering, and parts of Wales and possibly Republic of Ireland as well. Obviously, that would have to be ironed out, but it keeps cold right to the end of the run, with the -5 line in for much of the run. If we carry on, let me show you. The -5 line in remains in for the run with a block towards Greenland, a weak block, but then it transfers the wind into the east by the very end. So the GEM has transferred to a colder scenario as well. The GFS then has just released its 6-head run. We'll look at the midnight run first. So again, very similar. Develops our low a bit more though on Wednesday, so snow on the northern edge for like northern England, Scotland there. Winds remain from the north, bit stronger with the high pressure in the Atlantic, and there's that low which is trapped under the high with a much stronger ridge, keeping the northerly winds going, and very cold and quite wintry as well. The northerly winds continue as this block actually strengthens, becomes an established Greenland high. Low pressure systems slide on the south and southern edge, and slide into France, with the jet stream sinking further southwards, being shoved away by the block, keeping us in very cold air with wintry showers, and by the very end is in a very cold and unsettled scenario. Low pressure towards Scandinavia, bringing down the cold northeasterly winds with a block still around Greenland, shoving the jet stream southwards. So that is a very cold run for much of it, and probably would, as it goes on, get stronger and stronger with the cold potential. Now, if we have a look at the 6 edges in a little sneak peek, again, does not develop that low on Wednesday, so there it is there, I think. You can just see it there. So actually the risk there is further south, and would be less severe with the snowy spell. Now, as you get, again, very similar with that low, it does break apart, that the slow pressure does break apart the block strength a little bit. However, the block seems to strengthen in the Atlantic, and we're still, with the strength of the cold to our north and east and the high pressure towards Greenland, does actually shove the low pressure away to our south into Spain, keeping us in a very cold wind with the winds in from the northeast. And as you can see, we can only go out to day 8 there, but it is 8. So many models are actually changing a little bit to a colder scenario. And if we have a look at the ECM, this is the Grinch, because this is this breaks down the high pressure and allows this low pressure system again to run in from off the Atlantic and bring some much milder conditions in. Does bring back colder conditions as it clears away to our east, but it's very temporary, as then low pressure just runs in from off the Atlantic. This could actually be quite a snowy scenario. If this were to come up, it would be very snowy actually for many parts of central Britain, but it is less cold. So you have to weigh it out. Do you want cold and snow, and well, cold and drier, or do you want more unsettled, mixed and snowier? This is the ECM Ensemble, so this is running out to day 10 with the models, so 27 of them, running out to the 9th of January, I should say. So 27 of them have high pressure blocking towards Greenland quite strongly, low pressure over and just to the west of the country, to our north. However, it has a ridge towards France, which is bringing in milder southwesterly winds to the south. Could be still quite cold to the north, but it's allowing more unsettled flows. 24 and milder flows in the south especially. 24 of them, however, keep the cold going with high pressure towards Greenland, low pressure towards Scandinavia, and winds are in from a cold northeasterly. And then if we look at 2 weeks' time, so with them there's a mixed option. It's very uncertain at day 10, whether it's cold or returns mild for the south. 17 then on the 14th of January, so way out now. There's a lot of scenarios. High pressure towards Greenland with these 17, low pressure towards Lords Norway, and winds are in from the north. But for the south, there's a ridge, so it could be bringing in southwesterly winds to the far south. 13 of them with low pressure to the west, high pressure to the east, bringing in a mild south-southwesterly, but with a block in the Atlantic, which is trying to bring down colder winds. 12 keep it quite cold, with high pressure just to the north, and around that winds in from the east, but it looks quite dry. And then 9 with a proper block towards Greenland, quite a sustained block, low pressure towards the south, and that looks quite unsettled with winds from the east or northeast. We have a look at the diagrams. This is for London. This is the GFS midnight run, and as you can see, it is supporting quite a cold scenario. A lot of the runs here were going milder, obviously with that low pressure, but it seems to have reverted back to a colder scenario than it was showing before, which is only good, and it actually extends the cold for longer. But if we have a look at Birmingham, for example, this on the 6th said, we can't see yet, but if we look at the midnight again, very strong support. If we have a look at Snow Row for a bit of fun, there's not too much showing up on the midnight run. There we go. So there's this spell around Wednesday into Thursday where some of the runs develop the low and bring it further south, which allows that risk of snow, and especially on its back edge. Then it's quite dry before it returns a little bit more unsettled again around the 5th, 6th, 7th, with more runs showing snow. So Saturday, Sunday, Monday could be a little bit more unsettled with snow. And as you can see with the ensembles again, with the 6th set, it actually does look quite very cold, with a few of these going down to -10. So that's showing strong support. If we have a look at the ECM, however, it's very mixed. With that milder interlude, there's a lot more runs going for it. And they do drop it back cold again, but this milder interlude is throwing off a lot of the models, and there's less going down to the -5 line. It's all to be played for, but I do think that the ECM will switch back to a colder solution, because mainly the other models were messing around yesterday. The GFS kind of with the Grinch model, with its 6Z run spinning up the low a lot more before it reverted back to a colder, more prolonged spell of weather. But it could all flip back with the ECM. The ECM might just be having a Grinch day again. But it could all flip back as easy as it did with the GFS. So I thank you all for watching this video. I know it was a bit of a long one. But there was a lot to go through, and if you want your cold and snow, it might be coming off. But if you don't, then it's not all over yet. It is the weather anyway. But I would say it is more likely than not that we will see a long spell of colder weather, if at least drier, which could lead to some quite nice but frosty days at times. So cheers all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next weather video. Bye everyone.